Morning, legends. I know you all can see us at all. We're rolling out. It's time to go. It's kind of dark. It's light. Let's see here. All right. I like the lightning mode. Let me put this so they can see. Hopefully they'll see that. Yeah, hold this. I'm putting it on lightning mode because it gets the most visibility. Okay. That's the mode. That's the mode I like. Okay. Alrighty. Yep. I don't know if they can see anything, but we'll see.
On this ride, Paul and I left Northampton. We went into the woodlands. We picked up Team RR. We took the long way to get there. We went down Fishcreek. You can see speeds picked up. We got on Fishcreek. Another group came and passed us. Then we picked up our speed. There was a lot of action back there on Rabon Chapel, all into Montgomery. Then we left the group. We took the back way to Taco Corner and went up into the forest. Cut through on 1375. We took Osborne Road, came back to 149, close to Richards. We stopped at the store in Richards, came back on 1486, back into Dacus. That was off camera, and then we filmed Mount Mariah Road there into Dobbin. We turned it off and took Jackson Road back to Magnolia after passing Cairn towards the woodlands. We rode in excess of 7 hours. It was a very mild day, overcast. We got a front that brought rain the night before and really dropped the temperature, so fall is in the air.
Here.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll ride.
I may be able to come with you.
We're at Crust Pizza in the Woodlands, Eldred Village, Woodlands, Texas. And Abby said that he may go with us when we go further. So I told him that we're gonna leave. We're gonna keep going with them until they stop. I don't know what I said. Something about waiting. Paul's laughing. You see how effective the cycle light is. I have it in lightning mode, and it looks more powerful on the camera here. It does not bother the riders because of where I place it on my bike. It's not affecting their eyes. It's low enough.
I want to see how I feel.
You know, because you think about it, when you're following a rider, you don't look down there where the triangle is. You're looking at the back of the rider or maybe the wheel. It just, nobody has complained. So I like where I place it. That lady was going to cross, so I stopped people, but then she waved us through. So you see how many times I'm checking? I looked about 3 times because cars pop up. There's always double and triple check. Be sure it's clear before you roll out there. So this is Research Forest Boulevard. We usually meet them to the right, maybe about 3 kilometers up the road is where we usually meet them. But today we rode to the meeting point, just to kind of change it up a little bit. In a little bit, one gentleman named Scott is gonna show up. He hasn't done the ride in a long time, and it was good to see him out here, because you know how it is. Everybody needs a different motivator to get you out. The guy with the Sky jersey on was there last week. This is Paul greeting Scott. He's happy to see Scott. We hadn't seen him in over a year, probably 18 months. So he comes up, we start to chat. You know, I told him it's good to see him out there. Like, so I said, you've been skiing and doing, because he gets into where he'll go skiing, but I don't think that's what it was. I think that, you know, life happens, and then sometimes, you know, you can't stick to whatever you plan. Just with everything going on, I think he kind of got sidetracked, so now he's getting back. This is the first time I've seen him in over a year. So we're chatting about, you know, how things can turn your life around or turn it upside down, and how you have to keep your head up, that kind of stuff. That's what we're talking about. And it's kind of cool. One thing about our sport, we can be rolling and chatting. So after the ride, I went on the board. I don't post on the board that often, but I went ahead and broke my silence and just told him it was great to see him out there, and that hopefully he'll be able to ride more regularly. And then he replied and said that was the plan. So that's good. That was good to hear. And he's planning on coming out the next weekend to ride. So good to see him. Riding's good for you.
Try to get about 6 hours.
So I'm explaining to him just that on Saturdays we try to get about 6 hours to have a little more time. And so we ride with these guys until they stop and then keep going.
So we ride with these guys and then once they stop, we keep going.
Scott ended up having a broken spoke. I found out after the ride when I had posted that thing about just encouraging him to come back out. He said that he stored his bicycle close to some pool chemicals. So be careful where you store your bikes. The pool chemicals corroded the aluminum. So he sent me a picture of it. I'll do a video about it and let people know. We'll put in our tips section. So don't store your machine next to chemicals in the garage. So I don't know what else the chemicals affect. So I wouldn't be storing them in there, because if you have your water heater there, it might affect it too. You never know. So pool chemicals, be careful where you store them. Or at least maybe put them in a sealed container, like those plastic containers with a lid. I think that would make a difference. Because if they affected the spoke, if you have a car that has any aluminum parts, it might affect the aluminum on your car, your nice wheels or whatever. So be careful. The guy with a bike on his car, he had to do a ride. And you will see Mike. That's Mike coming the opposite way. That's Mike W. That's one of the other Mikes. Now he turns around. He wanted to make sure he did not miss the group, because he rides east. He lives on 1488. In Lake Windcrest, so he rides to meet these guys. So he always rides on this side, because you don't have a lot of openings. This is a 4-lane boulevard, and if you see the group and you're not at an opening, by the time you turn around, you got to work. So that's why he rides on this side. A while ago, this road only used to have a shoulder on this side, so everyone used to ride on this side, cyclists, just to avoid the busyness of the other side. Now both sides have shoulders, so there's no reason for it. So the only reason for him doing that, to make sure that he wouldn't have to chase. These guys are coming back, and this lady's running with her dog. Yeah, that guy passed a little closer than I would. They give the dogs a lot of room. They're dogs, they're gonna chase you. That's what they do. It's in their DNA. So you don't want to pass close enough to where he can pull from the leash and get to you. Plenty of room. I'm on the road. I don't ride over there right now. I mean, if it's early in the morning, we can use the whole lane. And so I just stay on the road. It's cleaner. You know, this shoulder is clean. So when I'm riding solo, I do use this shoulder. Sometimes I'll come out here and go to Cimarron to do some workouts.
Because you come on 1488, right?
Yeah, that's what he's talking to Mike about. The fact that Mike comes from 1488. He comes up on this side of the road. I don't like to ride against traffic. It throws me off. It just seems unnatural. So. The guy with the sky jersey, look at his feet. They're pointing towards Abby, and then you just look at his gait on the bike. His fit's off. His shoes are off. I don't know what kind of pedal system he has. He's toed out too much. Look at Abby's feet. They look almost straight. That's because he's toed incorrectly. That guy, his knee is pointed to the left. Yeah. You're not going to generate power like that. So something's off. That's not a natural gait. He doesn't look like he's injured or had any kind of injury for that setup to be like that. That looks like a setup that he's come across just fiddling with his bike. That does not look professionally done. You don't need to be a racer to benefit from a bike fit
No,
because he's not getting the maximum out of that bike in his body. Just look, yeah, you can look at him. It doesn't look very smooth. That's kind of like trying to walk with your knees, unless you're bow-legged or bow-legged or something. Nobody walks like that. That's not natural. You have to replicate your natural gait on the bicycle. So like when on my fit, my legs are the same distance that I normally walk, just your normal standing stance per se. Some people refer to it as your Q factor or whatever. Everything should just be natural for your body to where you're not doing anything unusual. It takes energy to do unusual things, and you don't want to use energy for anything other than making the bike go forward. And you guys will see that when we come to the overpass, because I put down some power today to get up. We end up being passed by a group, and our group gets excited, and we're chasing and this and that, and then we get to the overpass, and I just decide to bridge up. And it looks like I'm not really doing much, but you just see the bike pulling away. And that's the way you're supposed to look. You should be able to go fast without looking like you're going fast. People just see you go. So I get up here and I roll up to Mike, because on Sunday, the last Sunday, he was on a ride. We talked a little bit. He was asking me about the laser helmet and how you tighten it and so forth. So it was good to come up and just chat with him a little bit. That's what I do early in the ride. Just kind of roam around and chat with people, where possible, if they're open to it, instead of talking to the same people that you already know. You see a new face in your group? Welcome. Make them feel at home. Don't just stick with the people you know all the time. So look at the three of us. Look at Abby, look at me, and look at the guy on the right. That's what I'm talking about. So unless he's had some injury or there's a reason why he should be riding like that, I think that he's winging it, trying to do his own fit. It's kind of like going to do leg press at the gym. You don't stick your knee out. You put your feet on the leg press in the natural distance that they are for you, and then you just go ahead and you can generate power. Same principle as an analogy there. So I'm chatting with this guy, and I find out that his parents were in the State Department, so he's lived in my area in West Africa. He lived in Sierra Leone and Gabon. So you see me point to Paul in a little bit and tell him that Paul is from the Republic of the Congo. Because he asked me where I was from, because he heard my accent. That gentleman pushed the light because we don't have a car behind us. So right there, I'm pointing to Paul. I said, Paul is from the Republic of the Congo. And let him know. And then later on, you hear me tell Paul about our conversation. Yeah, there's no car behind us, so that guy went and pushed that button. Because if you don't, sometimes the light will not cycle. It varies from intersection to intersection. You see how we're all in one lane? That's how you got to do it. So that these guys can go unobstructed. There's always one rider. Sometimes I want to stay in that lane. Tell them to come over. So you're not impeding the flow of traffic unnecessarily. Everybody was pretty tight today. If you watch the lines here, what I was talking about earlier was that we get on Fishcreek, we start to go, and all of a sudden this group comes by like they're shot out of a cannon. Our guys get excited. We get a couple of riders that basically desert us and jump on that group. So, you know how it is. And so we start lifting our speed. And so it gets very interesting. 21 Celsius. That's about 70 degrees Fahrenheit. And this is September, September 5th. That's nice. The whole day was overcast. The camera had challenges with it because it needs lighting for the resolution I'm using, which gives us the best visibility in my opinion. And so certain areas that were too cloudy, it looked almost a little bit like nighttime. You'll see some of the clips, not too much, not too bad, but they're there. A day like this, yeah, tail light, you want to have a tail light. It's good to have. As Mike and Scott, they end up riding together, as I said earlier. I don't know if I mentioned it already, but Scott ends up, breaking a spoke, and so they had to fix that. And so he posted on the board. He sent me a picture of it. So I'll put something together to just add to the tips section. You know, so how you store, be careful how you store your chemicals, because they will affect your machine if you store your machine in the garage. This is the quietest way out to Fishcreek. It's kind of a leisurely way. There's a lady and a guy walking a dog, so we give them plenty of room. Dogs and deer, you know, we give them room. Sometimes even squirrels. You know, squirrels don't cross the road very well. They cross over like cats. Sometimes at the last minute they'll jump in front of you. When I joined this group, I was told that I guess it was Randy had a squirrel caught in his wheel. So the squirrel came out late. The squirrel passed away from that incident. Randy didn't fall or anything, I don't believe, but it can cause you to fall and, you know, at least mess up your spokes. And then who wants to kill a squirrel? I like squirrels. They work hard, they're quick, they have really good speed, you know. So it was unfortunate to hear that. So we're getting ready to get on to Fishcreek and hit the open road. The FM 2978, Honia Egypt Road, Sandera Boulevard, Fishcreek Boulevard. It has three names depending on which section of it you're on. This part of it is called Honia Egypt Road. At the light, it goes left and becomes Honia Egypt Community Road. Then you go straight, it's Sandera. And then further down it becomes Fishcreek after the bridge. So that's Honia Egypt Community Road. That's the road with Patina on the left there. We rode that on Sunday, that direction. It was interesting to go that way. So. Riding has not begun in earnest, but it will soon. And then after about probably 5 kilometers, another group zooms by. They're racing each other. And our group gets excited and starts lifting the pace. I I noticed that Abby has a bottle in his middle jersey pocket. I noticed that on Sunday as well. And I noticed that on his frame, the down tube has no bottle cage. So I didn't get close enough to see whether there's damage or he's just not able to put one on there, because if I'm carrying a bottle in my jersey, it's a third bottle. I put 2 on the bike on the hot days down here, just to avoid stopping frequently. Because you could carry one and then just stop often. I don't like all those stops. It eats into your riding, what they call on Strava, moving time. The pace is picking up a bit. We're getting near 40 kilometers, about 25 miles an hour. It's relatively flat here. It says -0, it's about flat. It's flat, it's slight downhill. Wind's kind of mild, nothing crazy. You see my cadence is up there. Early in the ride. This is not the point to be working too hard. If you're working too hard at this point, it's going to be a long day. That means you're with a group that is a bit above your level. You see everybody getting in the draft. These guys stop talking right here. You don't have to say anything. The pace has picked up. When you start hitting 40K, the wind kicks in, the drag factor. You start working hard. So you start looking for energy savings by using the draft. So on Sunday I rode with these guys again, and Abby's gearing, even on this ride, when he shifts in certain gears, it was in between, just noisy. So I suggested to him that he get it checked out, because you don't want it to break down on you. And sometimes when the gears are not meshing very well, you can break a chain or something, damage stuff. You start putting power down. I slow down, wait, and see, and look for Paul. Paul comes in, and I slip back in the line. Right here, when we get to where the bridge joins, there's a joint. You see me do that? Yeah, that's the joint. Mike hits it, his light goes to the right. Right there. That's his light. It's a tiny light. It came off the saddlebag. He had it clipped to the back of it. He's not aware of it. I saw it, Abby did, but we couldn't stop. Almost doing 50K. That's like 30 miles an hour. There's not enough room. So Abby tells him about it in a little while. You will see that. I'm doing a lot of soft pedaling. So if you look at the RPMs, they're going to go like 35, then they flip back up to 80, and then go, because there's a lot of yo-yoing going on. So I'll pedal, then I'll stop, and you see now the RPMs are back. So we're not really moving in earnest yet to where it's staying hard. You see me looking around. I'm watching to see what's going on up there. In a little bit, I'm going to move into the lane because it's going to open up into 2 lanes. That makes the right lane kind of fair game, you know, because there's not a whole lot of traffic, but still. Well, I want to use them right here. Opens up, I move over. That shoulder ends completely. See it shrink down and just pretty much disappear. So let's use the lane. We slow down because this light is short.
I lost the light, huh?
Yeah, so it's down, so I don't know who's like. It might be this guy.
Yeah, I figured it right was Mike. Paul's asking about the light. He said somebody lost a light.
Oh, yeah?
This is why I'm telling him about our conversation. The fact that this guy lived in the area where I grew up. Sierra Leone is a neighboring country to Liberia. And he also lived in Ghana. Traveling is good. It broadens you. We're doing about 22, 23 here. This is uphill. It says 1%. It's a little more than that. So we're working here. I don't know who's at the front, but they went hard a little bit and then they'll back off. Now we're back down to like 20 miles an hour. People get excited sometimes and they do a pace they can't sustain. In a few moments, everything's gonna change. I mean, we've got a nice pace here. The group is together. I'm not drafting very closely because we're really not going that hard yet. You see, I'm in zone 1, 130 beats per minute. For me, anyway. Everybody's in this zone. My fitness has come back to where it should be. So there's the guy. He takes off. He's racing his buddies. They're chasing him. That's the group we rode with on July 4th. The guys that were not very accommodating and just ignored us. That's the same group. Valhalla Racing, they're called. But the TT guys. So you see that they're chasing that guy in the front. And they say good morning and everything as they go by. He's up there. And we will get a couple of riders. You see, this is where it gets interesting. All of a sudden, watch our speed. We're doing 34, now it goes to 35. That's about 23, it's 22 and a half, 23 miles an hour. Now it's 36, 37, 38, you see? Somebody decided to chase those guys. And forget about whatever plan they may have had. Now we're doing 40K. And those guys are right there. You can see them. I'm not going to use arrows because you'll see them the whole time. They don't leave us because somebody at the front of this group, Team RI, decides we're going to show these guys. You can't just come blow by. You know how it is with you cyclists. You know who you are. All of you viewers, you can't let somebody pass you. So they're right there. So it's almost like the groups have merged because of that light. Now the light changes if I put my hand up. They're ahead, but they're spread out across the road too because they're stretching themselves. Because some of their guys are working hard. Okay. So we go through the light here. I'm looking ahead to see who is pushing the pace here. And in a short while, we notice that one of our members ends up latching onto the back of those guys when they came back. I think Tim, the one with the Ladiclet takeoff jersey that Rafa did with the yellow and the Peugeot stripes. He ends up going with those guys and abandons us. All right. He's up there. That's Tim. You see that yellow with the light? He's with those guys now. They're about probably 4 or 5 car lengths up the road right now. We can still see them. Now the guy in front of me, Abby, he's going to abandon us too. Hopefully I'll see when it happens. Because I find out when I ride up there, once I bridge up, you'll see that. That's when I see him. And the camera's not there because Paul decides to stay here to record what's going on behind here, which I thought was cool. Plus, he knew we were doing a lot of Ks today. I mean, we did over 100 miles, like 110 miles, something like that. So he wasn't going to go with my crazy move. Everybody in my family tells me I'm crazy, so I guess they're right. So somebody's forcing the pace here because we're going up this climb fast. This is like WCC fast. I saw 34, now he's back to 31. Look at Mark on the right with the white jersey. When Mark puts his head down, he's working. And Mark was like, this is my wheel, I'm not letting it go. He was putting force to the pedals. So 35 kilometers an hour, we're moving. This road is a gradual grade. I don't see the guys. I know they're not out of view. They're not out of sight. Paul's not trying to film that at this point. We're working so hard. We don't have to. You notice he's not turning the camera around. He and I already talked about it. When we're going hard, forget about the rear. Just let the camera sit there and just ride. That's what we're doing here. It's on. We're going hard here. 36, 37 on this grade. I don't know why the GPS seems to be off. Now it says 0. It's going to go up. It's been about 2%. I says 1, 2. There we go. 2%. And we're grinding like 20 miles an hour. Mike stands to change the way he's working. He sits. Abby goes to the left. See, those guys are right there. As long as they're in our sight and in our view, these guys they're excited. They're like, oh no, we're not gonna let them go. You know how you guys are. You get passed by anybody, you gotta chase them. So now let's see. I don't think we're. You see, they're right there. They're not that far. We can see them the whole way. And Tim is there. Now look at Abby sneaking off the front. He's going up to them. This is Lulo on the left here, the guy who had the flat a few weeks back. So Abby's gone. Abby's bridging up, I believe. That's what I believe anyway. I can't see. See, we're spread out. Abby's off the front of our group. See him to the left. He's going by somebody, and he's going up to those guys. Bob is here with us. And I guess Bob didn't want to do that work to go up with Abby. That's Abby in front of Bob right there. And then Mark, this is hard. Everybody's working. This is a hill and we're doing it for 25 miles an hour. You can see my body language. I'm putting the force down. And then back off. Now look at Bob. See, Abby has gone forward and I think he's latched onto those guys. Yeah, he's bridged up. So they're about 2 car lengths or so in front of us. And it doesn't matter. If it's hard enough, there can be 1 car length and you can't get there, or 1 bike length. I put my hand and made a fist to let Paul know to tighten it up because these guys are riding hard here. They have forgotten for whatever plan we had, whatever pitch we're gonna do, it's all out the window. All hell is breaking loose right now. So all I'm doing is I'm staying in the draft, saving my energy. Whatever you save, you can use at an opportune moment, in an opportune time. Don't waste your energy. No matter how good you might feel. I had good legs today. Shoot. I'm just sitting there looking. Those guys are up the road. I hope we get a good shot of them. We'll see them again. They're not that far. It's just that we're not filming them. So Abby has bridged up to them. And you'll see me move left because I'm descending faster than Mike. Right here. This is a little descent. This is Mike in front of me. That's Mark in front of Mike. That's another Mike to the right with the water bag on his back or whatever that is. I think it's a camel bag or whatever brand it is. Now, they dropped one of their guys. You will see him on the TT bar. He's with us. He's in front of us right here. We catch up to him. He got dropped. See them off the road there? So they got about maybe a quarter mile on us. This guy got dropped from that group. Now he's here in front of us, sitting there. He got dropped. We're catching up to him. He keeps looking back. I let Paul know it's coming the time to work. That's why I tapped myself so we can go because we have no concerted chase here. Bob's on the right. It's getting hard here. This is one I like to ride when it's hard. So now Mike is pulling, I guess, right now, and we end up not making a lot of progress. You will see me check for traffic. I'm gonna check for traffic until I realize the impetus is gone, and I go ahead and just give it a stick right here. I'm gone. them right there. Then I find out they're going kind of slow. I just ride to the front of the group. Watch my light. You're gonna see the cycle light. Paul continues to film. He's gonna move over. You will see me in the distance. That's my light you're looking at. That little blinking. That's the cycle. That's how effective that light is. You can still see my light as far as I am right there. That's my light. I moved through the group and I moved to like 4th position because they were struggling. The guys at the back in that group were struggling, and we're gone. When we get down there, I go ahead and stay near the front, and we get the Capitol Road. Then I realized that my group was further back than I thought, because when I went, I thought my group was going to go with me. I didn't realize I was going that hard. And then Paul had to tell me afterwards that, yeah, you flew up that hill. We just saw the speed. See, that's my light you're looking at there. That's me blinking. That cycle light is effective. That's the lightning bolt. We dropped one of their guys. That's him back there. I think that's Tim. That's the guy who abandoned us. He's been dropped. That's our guy, Tim. I'm glad Paul stayed back here. This is perfect. Because I didn't know what was going on until we turned. Then I turned and looked back to see that these guys were way back. They were further back than I thought. And then I decided to wait for them. But I didn't want to ride with those guys. They're not that friendly anyway. These were the guys on July 4th that just ignored us. That's Tim. He's the one that bailed on us. And he got shed out the back here. It got hard when I got up there. I went to the front and we forced it. So we're turning. Paul rode around those guys because there was no impetus to chase. I don't know who this is. Oh, this is Abby. He got shed too. And we're turning. You can see my light. We're turning. When we turned, then I realized, man, my group is far back. So let me wait for them. That's the high power zones. Christian calls it pure power. On a climb like that, you gotta be able to put on some big watts. That's what it takes. So I'm waiting up there. I'm waiting at the top of that hill. I couldn't even see them. I just decided to just wait. That's why you see my speed. You see, look at my RPMs. Not much, and my speed's dropping. I'm just waiting. I'm soft pedaling and waiting. I didn't want to ride with those guys. That's me up there. I'm waiting for these guys. I don't know what Bob's doing here, but he's telling somebody to come on. That's my speed, and I'm self-pedaling and waiting. Now that's the guy that dropped. So if you can do all of that, why did you get dropped? Come on. They should be working together. They're attacking each other. You don't do this. You get a line and you work together. Now look at my speeds picking up. I'm waiting for them. I'm still up the road. I just couldn't believe how far back we were. Nobody really put in the chase or whatever. I guess it was just too hard. So I'm waiting. I'll wait till they catch up to me. I'm coasting. Look at my RPM. I'm coasting. I want them to catch up. Now they're catching up. Now I start to pedal. I sprint up the speed. And I don't know if I come around Paul. Yeah, I do. Okay. And I use my cadence here. Look at my feet. It's like I'm scraping something off the bottom of my shoe. That's how you use the stroke. This is hard here. I'm going by a team like it's easy. It's hard. So if you're not smooth, you waste a lot of energy. And if you fit into your bike, it's easy to do. Because the bike just goes along as an extension of your body. This guy says, in the way, I tell Paul, come on, let's go. This guy's not firing. He's tired. so we just keep moving here. You see where Paul is? The wind's coming from the right. So he's staying on my left. Look at my cadence. If you get bogged down, you kill your legs. You have to do things that are sustainable. So I settle into a rhythm. Look at my feet, same motion. You can only do that if your bike fits you. Meaning your saddle is set correctly, you have your forearm correct, the height correct, so you can really maximize all the muscles in your legs and not just one group. As a result, you build endurance. I'll lift the pace here as they come by. Now these were the guys a second ago that were struggling, and they're coming by, and I know it's not sustainable. I lift the pace. Now you just watch. In maybe a kilometer and a half, they're gonna be looking to take a break. Never say no to a wheel. If the wheel that's coming is going to hold the pace you want to hold, you sit on that wheel. Save your energy for a bit. Drink, gather yourself if you need to, so that when it's time, you'll be ready to work. I don't even know if I took a drink here. I probably didn't need one. It's an overcast day. As usual, I drank before I got on the bike. So the first hour and a half, I really usually just drink out of habit, not necessity. So now Abby accelerates again and gaps the guy who's on the front. He can't lift the pace. No snap. That's what I mean when I said road racers can give these TT guys hell, because I don't know why they don't work on their snap. Because when I did time trials, I didn't just ride one pace. I don't know what he's doing up there, but he does that all the time. Go off the front, sit there, do nothing to help the group. That does not help the group. Now watch, they all need a break. All that shenanigans, you know, it's over. They're just in the way. I'm like, make way. So I resume after that interruption. Let's get back to the business of riding. As Moore always says, you have to do what is sustainable. You can't just go out and just do crazy stuff. This is not a final sprint. If you want to start a break, that's fine. You accelerate, but then when somebody comes with you, you better be able to continue, or you will get shed out of the break. And you have to know what's coming. So all that stuff they did back there, you'll see. I'm not going to ride this hill very hard, but no one comes around. They're tired. They need a break. And one thing I like about it is a guy in the group called Mark. When Mark needs a break, Mark's not shy. He said, look, I need to catch my breath. Or we need to catch our breath. He'll tell you. The rest of the guys want to act cute. Now you can catch your breath in many ways. You can stop, or you can back off, slow the pace down, and then catch your breath that way. I was trying to keep it right around 18 to 20 miles an hour, because this is about 3%. It hasn't registered yet. It should, because GPS was kind of behind because it's an overcast day. Now it said 2%. It's about 3.5. going almost 18 miles an hour, thereabouts. I'm gonna shift up. You'll see my cadence slow a little bit. I will soft pedal, but I'm not slowing down. I'm in a larger gear. You see the speed's going up because I'm going downhill. I do that on purpose to allow the people who may be struggling back there to get back together to keep the group together. That's what that's about. If this were a race, I would be attacking. That's not an attack. I'm actually letting them gather themselves, or as Mark always puts it, catch their breath. So Bob's not happy. He comes up. Now remember, a second ago Bob was struggling. He was back there. He didn't want to come to the front of the pole, remember? So now he comes and he's going to take a pull from here to, let's see, that's South Pine coming up. And which is fine. I don't mind it. I rolled up to his wheel and just sit there. But the thing is that sometimes it's best to just sit in the back or you come to the front more. So, you know, if you just want to work, that's fine. But just make sure you don't do too much, because when it's time to go really hard, if you don't have anything left, you'll be alone. That's why we don't wait. We're going to Richards. We don't have time to sit around and wait for people who make moves. If you make the move and you can't sustain it, we just keep riding. You notice that when we went around the corner, I did not give Bob much of a gap. Now here's Abby going again. I don't know where he's going, but okay, so he's sitting next to Bob. But he's tapping the tire. He's trying to give Bob a wheel. I don't know what they're doing, but they're going slower and slower. And I'm waking up my legs there. And we should be going a lot faster. This is downhill. And so they're kind of in the way here. And I'm like, you know, I want to ride. Come on, and watch. So right here, I just decided, I said, these guys, get out of my way. It's time to go. Make way. And Paul knows he's coming on. We're going. Now watch. I'm going to go, and Abby's going to try to get on my wheel, and then Paul's there. Now watch me. All I'm doing here is I'm trying to find the smoothest area, because with all the cracks and crevices on this road, watch me use my hips. I'm using my hips to move the bike. That's why it looks like I'm gliding. That's how you move the bike. Watch. It's gradual, so the person behind you is not shocked. There's no startling motion going on. I'm just gliding the bike. Look at that. That's how you do. Use your hips. If your bike fits you, you steer with your hips. I'm looking for the smoothest area. See, I'm gonna slide a little to the left because there's a dip that you can't see. One of those where the pavement doesn't crack, but it has a dip built in there. I just dodged it. And I'm just making sure I'm finding the cleanest spots. The corner has pine needles and leaves and other stuff that I remember from last week. I checked for cars, nothing's coming behind, and I let them know that's what that means, slow down. I'm gonna back off just a tad, just enough to give them a chance to catch up. And then I just go ahead and start to do what I call a sweet spot effort here. As long as you're doing what is sustainable, don't worry about people coming around you, because if they come around, you have a choice of either letting them go because they're not going to go too far if it's not sustainable, or rev up, get on their wheel, take that drag. I don't pay attention to speed when I'm riding. Effort. When I raced up to those guys, I didn't care what the speed was. I knew I was making progress. That's all that mattered. If you're somebody that's training with a power meter, then you could probably say, oh, I'm going to hold this wattage. But for me, when I used the power meter, I didn't do that. I just did what I needed to do, and then I would look to see what the power meter said after the fact. I didn't have predetermined wattage that I wanted to hold. I did what the situation called for, and then after the fact, reviewed the power meter information. So, oh, I pulled out that much? Oh, okay. That's kind of how I did it. But it's a good training tool. There's a lot of debris always on this corner, and water settles there. At this point, I'm surprised nobody has come around right at sweet spot. So my heart rate finally caught up. Because I've been riding at sweet spot. It had to catch up. And I just did that by feel. You can see I'm putting force to the pedals. That was a little grade there. I think critical. 1.something%. In a little bit, you'll see them start coming around. The guy with a sky jersey will come around and so forth. And I welcome it. I just speed up and get in that draft. That was a good shot there. That's Tim on the left who abandoned us and got shelled by the other group. And once that Tim told him when they caught up to him, he said, man, these guys, they gapped me. Yeah, it happens. And a lot of times when you're working like I am and you've got a rhythm, don't worry about the rest of the people. Just maintain your rhythm. Even if they come around and go faster, sometimes if you just stay with your rhythm, they're not going to leave you behind, because if you start to change and you're not feeling too good, then you're working too hard. He's soft pedaling up there. So he made a move down, he's soft pedaling. That's the thing I'm saying. It's like, okay, you're going to ride, let's ride. That was not a pull. Was that an attack? I don't know what it was. If you attack and soft pedal 3 yards off the front, yeah, I mean, come on. Or 10 yards off the front, that's not going to do anything. So I rev up here and sit on Abby's wheel. This is a grade, it's a little longer than the others. You can see the road going up. Look at my body as I put more force into the pedals. I'm holding the bars and I'm driving the pedals. I did not downshift. Whatever gear I'm in, I'm just pedaling harder. You see I'm soft pedaling because the power's off. I don't know what they're doing up there, but they're not putting power down right now. Look at my cadence, 65. It's dropping. I'm soft pedaling right there. You can see it. I stopped pedaling completely. I'm like, okay. And then when they look like they're not going to do anything, you'll see me go around. It's like they know they're going to stop at that corner. So it's like they don't care to ride. Not sure why Abby went left over that. I think he was avoiding something. That really was for Paul's benefit. You notice I passed on the left, because generally that's where most people pass. But I watched them the whole time just in case. So you would see Paul turn the camera around. They stopped at that corner to wait for, there's a bunch of people, about 4 or 5 people who are off the back quite a ways. That's a long wait. Just go to the store, wait there. Wait at Taco Corner, they'll catch up. So that's the first part of our ride where we go ahead and head out to Richards, Texas.
We had to let those guys go. We're going further than they are. And then we're going to wait on that corner. So we don't plan to wait when we're out here. So I think this is Osborne Road. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. We don't do it at all. It comes on like chip seal highway.
This Osborne Road is a bit of patina to start, and then it kind of up and down. That's what I thought. There's a lot of patina, and you would see me just navigate it. It's a quieter road. It's through the national forest, so it's really a county road, like a fire trail or something like that. So it's not busy at all. You have to kind of know this road is here to use it. You have to have a reason to be out here. It's not a main road at all. So we're in the Sam Houston National Forest right now. We're headed kind of east. Let's see here. Northeast. It's going to go mostly, northeasterly. We're going towards a highway called 1375, which has like the worst chip seal. I mean, the road surface looks decent, but when you're riding on a bicycle, it slows you down. It has a bunch of little pebbles, and the chip and seal stuff. I don't like that surface at all. And, I think what's his name, Joe Nanga, can't stand that either. So even though I have latex in these tires, they still were challenged by that road surface. So this road surface is getting a little better, and it kicks up. Our speed just drops. See, it says 2%. The grades come in a hurry, so you really have to be in the appropriate gear. I'm on the big chain ring right there. You see me switch right there. I dropped the thing to the small chain ring. So my small, it's on the left. I'm in a small chain ring. My rhythm didn't change. That's why you got to know how to shift from large to small and time it correctly. That's why I'm asking Paul what happened to Mike Weinberger. We didn't see him, but he stayed back with Scott and they rode together. And we found out later that Scott had a mechanical. I'm sure he caught up with them at Taco Corner, but we're already past Taco Corner here. Look at this day. It's a beautiful day to ride. This is a descent here. Doesn't look like much, but it is. It's -3. The road's a bit choppy, so I stood up. When the road is bumpier, I use slightly lower cadence. My form is the same regardless of the cadence I'm carrying. So muscle memory kicks in, so you have to train properly. Don't pick up bad habits so your body doesn't remember bad habits that you have to undo.
You can just ride.
So by tracking the road like you see me do, finding the smoothest path, it saves your wheels. So just how we're rolling through here real quickly, we're gonna come to a point where we're just gonna be going slower and slower because the road the grade kind of sneaks up on you. See right there, it says 1%. Look at our speeds.
Yeah.
it drops quickly.
You can tell from here. Yep.
That's what we're talking about. This thing is a 2. I think it will go to like 4 or something or more.
Remember that opening part, how would you send it?
Yeah. Yep.
Its entire stretch is up. The grade now is 3%. So you find a rhythm. The longer the climb, find a rhythm, find a comfortable gear that you can work and not labor in. You can see we're still climbing here, so that was a nice long climb. We're about the crest right here. It was nice to see such good pavement on this road. We haven't been here in a while. So because it's lightly traveled, the areas that are damaged really are being washed away, not because of use, but because of the soil.
I had to tell him I had like that
I
car
was
back.
talking about Paul. He's like, his bike was sounding like I had a car behind me. I kept looking back to see if there was a car back, but it was his tire. He's got those Victorias on there, and they sing to you.
From the side. Let's see if any discerning eye picks it up. The kid looks the business, man. The black looks awesome. Black socks, black shoes.
So I like that he could go black. This what he tells me. He said when we wore the kit the first time, that's what we used. Went black.
Yeah. Black and black, yeah.
So he did black, I did white, and they work. The versatility.
Look at that hill. That's nice.
It's steeper than the camera shows.
Yeah, you were on my left. I thought it was a car. I was like, churr. I was like, what? Car up. Really? Talk to me. In fact, I don't know, let's finish this road. I'm curious to know what's going on back there.
He was telling me about what was going on after I rode up the overpass, and you know how they really couldn't get together to form a concerted chase. So I settled into a groove here. The grade has lessened a little bit. I believe that's 1375 coming up. Yep. Chip seal. This is like one of the most challenging chip seal roads. The thing is, the surface is not bad. It's just got little pebbles. Look at that. And it just, you feel it the whole way. Look, yeah, I'm glad he filmed that. This is bumpy. You can hear the camera bouncing. So it looks good, but it feels worse than it looks. I'm waving a driver over when we turned. He was in the distance. And he didn't have the visibility that I did. I wanted him to go on by. So it slows you down. And this road has a grade. See, it says 1%. It's about between 1 and 3%, most of it. And it's not fun. That's why the camera's bouncing. If it weren't for the gimbal holding it, oh God. You can see my effort is up, but speed's down. These roads are very deceiving. There's a bunch of cyclists. They're probably going back to where we came. They're going to take Osborne Road to 149. This direction on this road is harder because it's uphill most of the way. I edited for time here to kind of move things along, of course. Content is the same. See, we're still going up. So you're climbing and it's bumpy, little tiny pebbles feel like baby cobblestones per se. It just shakes you up. So I put it in a gear to where you see my RPM 85 thereabouts. You don't want to spin a high cadence on these kind of crappy roads. You got more stability from a larger gear. And you see where I'm holding the bars. Cuts down on the vibration. I'm near the stem. It goes down just a tad and it's gonna kick back up. So this whole time we're climbing. And then the wind's picking up. So you just gotta find a rhythm and go with it. Here it starts to go downhill for a little stretch, kind of saves our legs, so I take advantage of it to get my cadence a notch over 90. Beautiful road, busy highway though, high speed, but light volume. So at this point, I've settled into a rhythm here, and I'm just sustaining the same effort all along. If you've noticed, my heart rate was changing. It's going to change. When you go downhill, you keep the same effort, the heart rate will go down because you're not pushing as hard. But once you start going on a grade, it creeps back up. So it kicks up here. Then you can see in the distance it will go down, then it kicks up, then it goes left. So we just work this whole area. And I think after that curve we should be close to 149. If your bike is not comfortable, you can't ride not only a bumpy road like this, even though the bumps are little bumps because it shakes you up, but you get numb hands, your toes go to sleep, all of that's a factor. The grade is kicking in, we got a lot of wind, and it's just, you just feel like you're pedaling in mud. But even then you have to be smooth. There's 149 up ahead. It's been a long time since we used this road. It's just as I remember. The chip and seal keeps the longevity of the road. It's more durable, but it leaves a lot to be desired, especially for a bicycle. They'll hold up well in winter with all the rains. We're at 149. A lot of times when they have organized rides, that's a rest stop on the right there. They set that up there. It's a big area. This is 149 that we turned.
Nothing fun about that.
Onto Osborne. Paul didn't like that road that much. I don't blame him. But it was just something different to do today. At this point in the ride, we're on 1486 south, heading towards Mount Mariah Road, and it has fresh new pavement. You can hear the wind. It's later in the day, 4 hours and 55 minutes into it. It's 11 o'clock, 10:59 a.m. We made good time on this ride. We have sections of our ride where we back off the workout part and just ride zone 1, maybe zone 2, and we chat and we sightsee. Makes it up, not very long, just a section. And we don't plan it, we just decide where we're gonna back off. That's how you're supposed to look on your bike. And if you can't see yourself, that's how you should be. You shouldn't be bouncing around or feeling like, man, I gotta be moving around. You need to just be stable and let your legs do the work. If you're having to move around, that means you don't like where you're sitting on that saddle. Get some help. That's the best investment you can make, making sure your bike is comfortable. We're hoping your bike is the right size for you. So if you're gonna buy a bike, get a bike sizing done first. If you don't already know your size, of course. So we're riding right around 18 miles an hour. We're going into the wind. The wind shifted during this ride. It's now coming from the south. It's 24 Celsius. It's about 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Unusually cool for this time of the year and this time of the day. So even though this road is also chip sealed, even Paul mentioned that it's nowhere near as bad as 1375 was. So this actually felt better after experiencing that one earlier today. So we're just holding right at 18 miles an hour. I'm not focusing on the speed, of course, it's the effort. But the wind is slowing us down. I'm trying to stay to the right so Paul can still take advantage of the draft because the wind is coming from the front and on our right. And when he put the camera behind, I noticed here on the clip that we had vehicles following us. I'm not sure why they were sitting there all that time. They had room to pass. But that's fine. I'd much rather they wait till it's safe to pass.
Okay, keep going. Got the buddy.
So we're having problems with the camera here as we approach Mount Mariah Road. Not the camera, the gimbal. The gimbal started acting up. We couldn't figure out why, but so he gives me the cam. So I take it out. I take the camera out of the gimbal and put the gimbal in my back
gimbal's
pocket.
messing up, so we're turning to Mount Mariah Road here, and we'll see if we can sort it out.
So the gimbal was misbehaving, so we'll put it up. A lot of times when the weather changes, these batteries act up, who knows. So we're holding the camera here for this stretch.
Yeah, it's out of power.
The gimbal says it was out of power, but by the time we got home, it had found some power, it had 25%. So you can see the gimbal's in my pocket, in the middle. And he's holding the camera. There's a car coming, so I point that out to Paul because he's being impatient. Those people are walking, and he acts like he can't wait, so he encroaches on our side of the road. That's what I'm telling Paul. Because if he's got to wait for 2 seconds, I guess the world will come to an end.
Beautiful.
This is where we started getting more cloud cover. You can see the camera's having a bit of a challenge. And look at Mount Mariah. It's fresh pavement. It's beautiful. This is the road where we came on. We stopped and walked in the mud by the work truck, the work equipment, and they're done. It's beautiful.
Remember this wheel used to make noise?
Yeah.
We're talking about my front wheel. My front wheel used to make a lot of noise. I went ahead and rebuilt it. It broke a spoke. I rebuilt it. Now it's steady and strong.
Wow.
That's the model. So you buy the spoke, you have to state the year because the nipple's different
Yeah.
from year to year.
There are Campagnolo Urus wheels, and when I rebuilt them, I found out that
Yep.
they changed the size of the nipples. I'm telling Paul, so you have to select the appropriate year. So even though the model's the same, they vary.
Yep.
Even the spoke lengths vary from year to year.
You're right.
Straight.
You're right, buddy.
Oh, yeah. Woo. Sharing my Mariah Road with you guys. Carl.
Guys come on the corner like they come on the corner like the road is gonna expire.
Paul said those guys are going to the corner a bit fast. I told him, I said, as long as they stay on their side, I don't really care, you know. But yeah, they're driving around like nobody else using the road. Just a bit careless. I like this road. It's never busy. There's no industry. There's a church on the right there. That's just a branch that got crushed. I didn't want to go through it. That's a church right there. The rest of it are people's private homes.
Yep.
And they have large acres properties.
Nice move.
This is where I took Stuart Scott, the late Stuart Scott used to say, as smooth, as cool as the other side of the pillow.
Like a baby's behind. And that's a road.
I thought I said the road is as smooth as the baby's behind. Look at that.
Yep.
It's beautiful. It's quiet. Now it's well paved. No more cracks to be worried about.
Yeah.
We used to be dodging cracks on this stretch.
This is whoever built this road.
We're climbing here up to 4%.
This is done by a pro.
I think that stretches where I got the 5 right up there in that curve.
This road used to be crappy.
Oh,
This road used to be crappy. We used to have to ride on the edge to avoid all the cracks.
G-E-E. Look at this road, man. Kicks up here.
Yep. Used to use that mailboxes.
That's a gauge.
Yep.
Yeah, the mailbox, the grade
24.
lessons.
Right there. It starts going down at mailbox.
Yep.
So I take the camera, we're holding in our hand. Which
Yeah, that's beautiful. I hope
keeps
the
it stable.
camera will do it justice.
Yeah, it doesn't do that hill justice. It's beautiful.
One hill after
Yeah,
another.
got some light.
Mariah Road.
The camera had challenges with the cloud cover.
Road like this.
This is so sweet. Man, this is smooth. This is a buttery smooth. You can put 120 PSI in a tire in this bad boy. Smooth. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, these are the roads. We're gonna overinflate your tires, or not real overinflate. We're gonna use high pressure.
And that's where,
even though they're recommended.
look at that. It's another
E1
one.
road surfaces
That's
like
why
these.
we love this road. One after another, the hill stick, they hit quick and fast. Oh,
Thick and fast. That's what Phil
Look at
Liggett
that.
always says, thick and fast. Meaning repeatedly.
All you do is you find the proper gear, that's why you carry them, and enjoy the climb. You don't need to be in anger every time. This is beautiful.
We were not passed by even one car on this road the whole stretch.
I don't know what's taking them so long. They started fixing this road long after Tri-Lake started. Now they're done.
Yeah, the Tri-Lakes area, they're working on some part of the road. It's almost going to be done. They got about 25% left.
Before we even know it.
Yeah,
What's
these
up,
dogs
boys?
always come to greet
What
us.
y'all working on?
They're fenced in, so which is good.
Easy. What's up, guys?
There's 3 of them that live in there.
See you next time.
The neighbor always gets excited when they bark. I don't think I got him on film.
In the yard.
He's some black dog.
That black dog, wagging his tail. These boys don't get out much out here.
He's so old. He's trying to bark. It sounded like he was hoarse.
Yeah, that guy, he was one of a kind.
We're talking about the other dog that ignored us.
So old, he's hoarse.
This guy is hoarse. I think he's back there. You can barely see him.
He can't even bark.
We came across a dog that ignored us.
This
He
is Mount
just
Mariah
sat
Road.
there.
That's why we come through here. Look at this. Beautiful.
He looked at us like whatever. He was sitting like a sphinx, and he just did not move. He could have cared less.
1375 has the worst chip seal. It looks like an armadillo.
Yeah, Texas speed bump. That's what we call
Somebody
it.
ran over him.
Armadillo
out at
dead in the
night,
middle of the
so-
road.
Hard to see. Look at this road, man.
Anteaters,
That's where they built that bridge.
grubs.
Look
Yeah.
at that curve.
This is where we walk through the mud. They've done the entire stretch. Beautiful road.
Look at that. This is the bridge right here.
Look at that road. Beautiful. Since we knew it was finished, we had been here about a week ago, I think, and so
Yep.
we chose this route to experience this nice new road. Just beautiful through here. You can come on this road any day of the week. It's like this. Everybody out here own pasture. You would see me messing with one of the horses because he was looking at me, and I'm like, "What's going on?" And then he looks away. Cemetery on the left there.
We're going to look for this TT to get a case.
Yeah.
Look at that road. Beautiful. They did a good job here repaving this. I hope it holds up. Just wanted you to experience what we experienced. Listen to that wind. We're going into the wind. I dubbed it down, of course. That's why I was speeds depressed. That's why you can't train to speed. It's a red herring.
Come on,
the horse was looking at me, and once I called out to him, he turned away, like, like whatever.
One car.
Yep. Gotta love it. The road is all ours.
We're just blown away by the quality of the work on this road. A lot of times when they work on the road, they have uneven areas where they didn't smooth things out. This thing is just flawless. We approach 105 and we go across, and then Paul continues to film the road for you all so we can share our beautiful Mount Mariah recently repaved surface.
Yeah. These roads, man, I'm like, look at it.
Walk down in greasy roads, they're crappy, we got all these potholes. I think we got our share, but we take roads that are just cracking.
There was a gentleman in Greece that put a comment on the channel about his roads and how nobody's fixing them. So I kind of felt for him, but I made it clear that we have our share and that we plan our routes to avoid the crappiest roads where possible.
Why we got the symbol over here?
Oh, because it's you shaking it.
Oh, okay.
It's but it's still filming.
Yeah.
So I want to thank our sponsors. Consider becoming a member if you're not a member of the channel to support the channel. And this is our epilogue here where Paul is sharing Mount Mariah Road in Montgomery, Texas. Look at that road. Beautiful. B-E-A. And it's not a main drag or anything.
Texas roads.
To just take care of the roads. Don't mess with Texas. That's the logo here. What it means is don't throw trash out of your car and all that kind of stuff. Somebody's got the Lone Star flag over there along with the U.S. flag.
This is where we go wrong, boys. And it goes.
It's a slogan that Texas came up with, don't mess with Texas, but people were littering the highway when they're driving in their cars, throwing trash out instead of keeping it until they got to a service station to dump it there.
Something happens. It's never done that. Usually we have plain roads.
Yeah. We stop it at the end of that road. Yeah. On this bus to notice that.
So Paul decided to share Mount Mariah. Mount Mariah hits 1486 in this direction. We're heading east. The wind's coming from the right now. Listen to that wind. That's Old 105 Road there. It's called Old 105. That takes you back to 105 that we just crossed earlier. So this is why the road is quiet. You see one house. Look at the yard. It's huge. Probably 5 acres or more, you know, behind the house and everything. That's another house. Then they have acreage property. So you got 5 or 6 people in what? Maybe 4 square miles or something. I mean, it's just, there's not a whole lot of density out here. That's why we come out here.
You can't go short on a day like this, man.
Paul said you can't go short on a day like this. It felt like we were riding in Southern California, like in the San Francisco area, with this overcast and just nice and mild. So this is what we did on Saturday. If you didn't get out, keep your body moving. You have to keep those doctors fired. Get your K's in.